So the video you're about to see is you're about to see a BW called black men niggers and apes and monkeys in this video. And what I want to talk about in this video is I basically want to point out how you got black men in this chat and you got King Riches, because I want to be direct with who I'm speaking about. You got King Riches in this chat, the same person that made a video about, an hour-long video about a white woman, right? And this is what I mean by these dudes cherry pick. Because where is the hour-long video, even the 30-minute video, publicizing this? And since you guys are not going to publicize it, I will. Because you guys want to cherry pick to fit your narrative. That's what I said in my previous video before. And this is why I'm not subscribing to none of these YouTubers, these black male YouTubers, none of them. Because this is what they do to fit their narrative. The simp for these BWs. And now you see a stupid look on his face with this self-hating BW that I'm about to do a video on. All right? And the fact that you have a lot of black men in this chat and nobody said nothing except a few words, few quotes about this creature. But they want to do it if it was a white woman, right? A non-BW. You had black men who didn't even think this was a BW. That was a white woman. That was a non-BW. And you was for a rude awakening, wasn't you? You know, I'm like 15 years ahead of a lot of these dudes because I said stuff like this 15 years ago when I was still in middle school. I was still in middle school when I realized this. And now you got 10 years later, I don't know if it's just because certain people have a voice or what, but the fact that you still have people making videos about white women, cherry picking on who they want to do videos about, when you got these BWs calling you niggers and apes, putting white men over you because you want to talk about putting white women on the pedestal, right? Which is what she did. She did the opposite. And you're sitting there trying to have a conversation with the bitch like she's 9 years old. When she's 31, she's a grown woman. I mean, I know BWs aren't that smart, but she's not that stupid. And you want to say these are the people that you can relate to the most. These are your sisters. You'll never hear me call a BW my sister with the STA. Ever. Ever. I'll die in a plane crash before that happens because it's not something that will come out of my mouth. But this is what you got with a lot of these men on YouTube. And it's pathetic. You want to do a video about a woman who's not even from your culture, women that you say have nothing in common with you, because a lot of you guys can't get these women. That's really what it comes down to. And I didn't realize that until you guys said it. You said you can't get them. I ain't say that. You don't want to do videos on them for this stuff, which is what I said in my previous videos. And I think it's important for me to bring this to light because if you don't have this video being publicized, you're going to have the same thing happen 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, 8 years from now. The same stuff they're brainwashing you with. It's like these dudes got a run book that they follow. And one of the rules in the run book is don't publicize the stuff that BWs do like this. Only publicize it if it's a white woman. It's like that's in their run book. And they take what they have from the other content creators in the manosphere and say the same thing. Now, I don't have a problem with Kevin Samuels, so I'm not going to be doing a video on Kevin Samuels like most of these black men are on YouTube. Because I don't watch his videos about colognes and stuff like that. Because I'm not invested in BWs. My only purpose for watching his videos is those that relate to black men interracially. And he was spot on with a lot of what he said about black men who date interracially. So, I'm not going to make a video about Kevin Samuels. I'd rather make a video about this. Because it's important this gets to the public. Especially if you have younger black boys who are becoming men. I'm not talking about the black simps who are going to become grown-ass black boys and they're 18, 19, simping for these BWs. I'm talking about the next ones that are actually going to become real men. They need to see these content, and they can't be brainwashed by this false information that these dudes put out. about, oh, the BW is your best match. No, that's gonna end today in this video. I said that's over with. And yeah, since you guys will do a video on it, nobody else will, I'll do a video on it because this fits my platform perfectly. This is why I started this YouTube platform, because stuff like this, they don't want to bring this to the public. They don't want to publicize this stuff. So I will. Nobody does. Let's get into the video.
The bottom of the barrel. So they feel like, why are black men the bottom of the barrel? Because they commit 86% of all homicides, 86% of all crimes and violent offenses. And just let me ask, do you know what percentage of black men are committing that 86% rate? What percentage of black men? Well, black American men. What do you mean, like? Yeah, what percentage of black American men are actually...
Notice how when these creatures call out the stats, they never want to talk about the stats for BWs. How you are more likely to have HIVs and STDs than any other race of women. How you are more likely to have children out of wedlock more than any other race of women. And half of black men don't have children. 80% of you do. Notice how when they throw out these stats about black men, they don't realize that people who do their research and understand this knows the same stats apply to you. 10 times worse. And that's why you're bottom of the barrel woman. Black men can't be bottom of the barrel because men are valued by their success, their looks, their physical attributes. All of these play into the factor of a man, of a value of how much he's worth to other women. So if a man is winning in these categories, he's going to have options for any race of woman, period. You as BWs, collectively, you are bottom of the barrel. This is a fact. You cannot say black men are bottom of the barrel when you are statistically the least desired, the most impoverished. And this is what these creatures do. And I'm glad someone sent me this live stream because it's a perfect example. You're going to see the self-hate later in this video, but let's continue it.
Making up those statistics. Oh God, when I look at the statistics, it's actually pretty sad. Well, all violent crimes, 81% of all violent crimes and 63% of all arrests for property crime. And then there's more. I mean, there's just so much. They're not as educated. They from out of high school. Just quickly, here's my thing, Aquarian Sun. When I asked you what percentage of black men were actually making up those numbers, right? We're actually making up those stats. You couldn't answer me, and that's what a lot of you women do. You look at these stats that you can use to disparage black men, right? That's your only purpose.
Exactly, and they won't speak on the stats. You know how they used to say, black men don't go to college, more black men are in prison and college. You remember how these creatures, these weave chimps, use that argument? Remember that? And if you look at the statistics, black men ratio of college attendance or actually getting bachelor's degrees are the same in comparison to the ratio of BWs and white women and Asian women. Black men are also third behind their male counterparts. They're not that much of a difference. But you see, when they use these stats, they don't take those things into consideration. That's why you can't take these creatures seriously. Let's take the video again.
Gathering these statistics, it's not acknowledging the fact that it's actually a small minority of black men who are multiple offenders who are committing these crimes, and so it's not black men as a whole. This is actually a very small select group who are making up that 86%. But would you want to live around black men? You use the 86% as a way to demonize all black men.
Have you ever lived around BWs? Have you ever lived around a bunch of government assistants clogging every ghetto near you, having a bunch of children you can't raise or take care of? Have you ever lived around BWs? Have you ever did that?
I said the percentage is very small. Right. You can't throw statistics around but give out half-assed statistics. Well, do you follow Candace Owens? Because I get a lot of my information from Candace Owens, and she is also a woman that married at 30. Her high value, her father-in-law is from the House of Lords, so she married high value also, and he was over 30. She was over 30 when she got married. You said she was 30 when she got married. Yeah. So shout out to Debo, who says this chubby is delusional. Most of the couples she mentioned had a horrible divorce and spoke about how combative they were. But Observer Melanin says black men are having kids with boyfriends instead of husbands. That alone creates poverty and dysfunctional environments. Thank you. I'm not chubby, actually.
Exactly. These BWs create these environments. They're the face of poverty. So, of course, everything that comes from you, considering most of you don't have a significant other in your life, no matter what race of men you date, thinking that dating a white man is going to stop you from being a single mother. And we can see that's not true by the videos I did previously. Your offspring is failures, period. I mean, there was an article written, and I can't find it no more, by a black man who actually pointed out that biracial kids from black men and white women do better than black women children. And I'm still trying to find that article. The guy removed the article for some reason. But I mean, these BWs are just, their offsprings are always going to be failures, in the sense that if they are like this creature right here speaking, or like these crystal crack baby squirrels, these are the type of mothers that are producing these children, they're always going to be failures. Almost 9 out of 10 times. These type of BWs, specifically.
More on the anorexic side. But anyway, he's black. This is the thing. Black men always do that. They always have, talk about delusion. Talk about hitting the wall. Black men go bald faster. They get beer guts.
That's not true. The fastest, so the rate of men that go bald fastest is actually South Asian men.
You need to post these sources, because it's a proven fact that BWs go bald more than any other race of women. By the time you get to your mid-30s, you're going bald, because you spend so much money on weaves and wigs. You don't even have your real hair. You're going to end up looking like Cynthia G by the time you get 40, wearing wigs every day. And that's not feminine at all. Trust me, a man going bald is not as worse as a woman going bald. And you go bald more than any other race of woman. That's a fact.
Talking about Indians,
every black man bald.
and then actually white men go bald faster than black men.
And you have the highest obesity rate in America. In every country, every westernized country, you have the highest obesity rate. You can't even compare that to Africa, because the majority of Africa, the black countries in Africa are the majority black. Every country you're in, you have the highest obesity rate. So maybe you should read those stats before you come on this panel, because I'm recording this and I'm gonna break it down.
But go on, let's throw some more out there.
I love you. I'm serious. I've been following you for a while too, and the thing is, I just get so sick of the delusion of black men, and I don't have a serious problem with black men in general. It's just the truth has got to be exposed. They keep the delusion, and they keep talking about. They act like the men that's in their 40s, 20-year-old women are checking for them. No, they're not. When I was 20, I dated older men for money. I mean, if you're gonna get money out of somebody, you get it out of an old man like Kevin Samuels.
You're 31 and you're still single, Aquarian Sun. So you're saying that you only dated these older men for money. Well, maybe you should have taken a few of them more seriously, and you wouldn't be in the danger zone and using celebrity couples as an example of what you.
I'm using my sister. I told you my sister got married when she was 34.
First thing that you did when you came up was listed all of these celebrity couples and not your sister.
And again, when they list these couples, I mean, you can easily Google the richest men on the planet, the most successful men. BWs are losing. Y'all get the most bottom of the barrel white men, period. You got 2 billionaires that I can think of that are with BWs. Out of them, how many people are there living right now in this world? Out of the billions of people, you only got 2 billionaires with BWs. 2. You got more black male billionaires, despite it's not many of us, with other races than you do the other way around. You got the Princess of Norway who's dating a black man. But I'm not going to get into that. I mean, this is just how stupid and delusional these creatures are. And that's why you can't take them seriously. And this is what I mean by, these guys never point this out. They'll do a video about a white woman, as I said before. But they won't do a video about this. Oh, this is how BWs really care about you. No, this is how white women really care about you. They're effeminate. This is how BWs really think about you. They're delusional. Least desire.
Because those are the only ones that we recognize. If I mention people I know personally, y'all don't know who those people are. So I have to point out people in the celebrity field that people know. So I'm like, okay, well, these are celebrities. And if anything, you would think celebrities would choose younger and hotter and all this stuff, and women in their 20s. No, these celebrities are choosing women in their 30s and 40s.
So let me ask you, where did, you said, what did you say? Black men are delusional?
Yeah, because they act like they don't hit the wall. Every day I see a chubby black man. Every day I see a black man with gout. Every day I see black men balding.
Black women have a higher overweight and obesity rate than black men do.
That's true, and I'm glad that I'm starting to see more of them in the gym. And they get mad at me because they call me up. They say that I'm too skinny. So I'm glad to see more black women in the gym.
Black women are also delusional because they're walking around overweight. Why is it just black men who are delusional?
Well, black people are delusional to a degree, don't you think? We're all delusional.
No, I think especially in the black race can be delusional. So I think certain communities within the black race can be delusional. Take the Swirlers, for example. Did you see the video that I played of the Asian man at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one on Cynthia G's channel. And I have my own, I have my own pet peeves with Cynthia G. But I understand her frustration. I do. But, I just said, as far as Cynthia G is concerned, I told her, I was like, why don't you just escape Pakistan?
I'm reading this comment. It says the majority of white other races of men aren't going to marry black women because in order to keep economic power base, they have to produce children that look like them to the same power. Okay.
Leave black men alone because they're at the bottom of the barrel of every totem pole. And just date out. I mean,
let me ask you this. How much success have you had dating out?
Okay, BWs are at the bottom of the barrel every totem pole. The only difference is the top BWs aren't with the top white men. The top black men have options to date top white women. You don't. Serena Williams had to date down. Men are the breadwinners. Men are supposed to be leaders. Men are supposed to be the ones who are winning. You look at Lindsey Vonn, married a hockey player. Together their net worth is worth $28 million. BWs date down. That's the only reason that you can get these bottom shelf brads. It's the only way you can get a white man that's not a bottom shelf brad 9 out of 10 of the times. You got Prince Harry, who got disowned basically from the UK for dating a woman who looks like she's a quarter black. Even though she's biracial, she looks a quarter black, and he's not even in the UK anymore. So you actually brought this man's status down, and you're talking about black men being at the bottom of the totem pole. How can you breed a prince and your status is brought down by dating a BW? That's laughable. That's laughable.
The black community. And before you answer that, I'm going to quickly read the super chats. So Classy Young Man says, majority of white and other races of men are going to marry black women because in order to keep economic power base, they have to produce children that look like them to sustain power. Thank you, Classy Young Man. Ashley Lauren says, Duchess Meg makes fake baby pics and Zoe Saldana wants her man to have her last name. Shall I keep going? Give me just a second, sorry, Aquarian Sun. The Observer Melanin says, height, weight, dress size. This girl is a serious joke. So One Titan says, none of the black men she named came with children. None of the black women she named came with children. Good point, I was thinking the same thing, One Titans. And I believe that is it. So are you willing to answer height, weight, dress size?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm 5'3", I'm 118 pounds, and I wear a size 4. I actually want to gain a little bit of weight, to be honest. So that's why I work out, and I try to, put on a little bit of muscle. But I'm trying to gain some weight, actually. And, I get hit on by a lot of white guys. I'm not going to lie, and I do tell them how old I am. And that is absolutely not a problem. I don't give a damn.
I don't think 31 is old. I don't see 31.
Yeah, but according to old Kevin Samuels, and he's a senior citizen, he says that
What Kevin is telling you is that when you are middle-aged, right? I don't think it's old, but you are starting to hit middle age.
Kevin Samuels is a senior citizen.
When we look at life expectancy, you're beginning to hit middle age, and I don't think 31 is old, but you are getting to the stage where your options are going to start dwindling. That's why he calls it the danger zone, because if you don't make the right choices.
Let me just say something about this whole value stuff. I really don't like to put my information out there like that, but I'm in my 20s and I make over 100 grand a year. I make under 200 grand a year. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to have credibility. I'm not have an issue getting women who I want. I don't have an issue laying up with any woman I want. I can lay with gold diggers. I can lay with models. I don't have a problem getting women. I'm not checking for women who are 30 or older than me. I'm checking for women who are either my age or younger, and I'm 20 in my mid-20s. That's it. These BWs who are 30, like this creature right here, don't realize that you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You said black men were, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You are not going to be able to compete with these other races of men, women, for these men, because they're not checking for you. You're the least desired woman on the planet. That's a fact. But they don't want to accept this. They want to live in the delusion. And this video is a prime example of that.
Now, if you don't start changing now, then in the future your options to date are going to be severely limited. That's what he's telling women. So he's not saying you're old, but he's saying you're approaching that stage where you need to do better. And if you don't do better, then guess what? You're going to be alone.
This is real interesting to me though. How undesired these BWs that they have to go to these platforms. They either have to go to these platforms where they cry about colorism and featureism and being undesired all day, or they have to go to a man to tell them these things. These are things that women of other races have naturally. This is again proving why you're at the bottom of the barrel. Not just the statistics, but the fact that you have to go on these platforms to get attention from men. I wouldn't go on there because I'm not interested in y'all. But this is a prime example of what I'm talking about.
I do understand that point, sis. The thing is, you've got the average black man calling black women my age old. And so when I see black men my age that are 31, they're already bald. They're already overweight.
How many bald 31 years old?
I see it all the time. I live in Texas, so that's the thing. Like, a lot of these men down here, I don't know if you've ever been to Texas, but a lot of these black men down here have let themselves go. They're angry, they're bitter, they're gray already. These men, they're miserable. And so they're trying to project that misery onto black women. And the thing is, really not their lives out here. They're angry because they're black men, they're 40.
It seems like you're angry and you're projecting that onto black men.
I know, because I get sick of it. I'm so sick of the Kevin Samuel types. I'm so sick of these average black men that think they're the shit. They don't look like nothing. They're walking around thinking that they're so handsome, and they're not. I just want to tell somebody. I'm like, let me call, because I've listened to you for a while. I think you're absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, let me just call in and just get this off my chest. It's just been bothering me for a while. And I get sick of, black men thinking that they're above what they're supposed to be. They need to stay in their lane and let black women, do their thing. Black men are not as loyal as we used to be, thank goodness. So that's why there's starting to be more, like a sister, what's her name, Naina, she said that there's more black women, white men couples. I'm starting to see that too. So
are you...
Yeah, that's why you got swirling gone wrong videos all over YouTube. And that's why you have a lot of these BWs taking white woman rejects. That's basically what you get when you date interracially. And black women aren't loyal to anyone. You're least desired. You accept what you can get. So of course, you're going to have bottom of the barrel white men pursuing you, considering the top men of your race are dating out their race twice the rate than you are. The fact that I'm dating out my race, my friends are dating out their race, none of them are struggling financially. All of them are doing good in life. And you're on here crying about black men 24/7. Meanwhile, chasing after the white woman rejects White women have more options than you, so they can reject certain men. You don't. I mean, I feel like the weave is so tight around this person's skull that it's affecting their ability to think properly. Because this is a delusional rant that she's going on.
So wake up.
Okay, so El Nixon says, who started world wars, wiping out cultures, REN and pillaging, cloning, arms dealing, school bombing, stealing money, and bombing our communities? History must not be their favourite subject.
The thing about me is I don't like to argue with these people. I can see that these people don't want to go by facts and actual reality. But let's continue the video.
Round Boy Dip says, Caller, how would you feel if one day your black son was to listen to everything you've said about black men?
My black son? I don't really want a black son. I know that sounds awful, but I don't want no black son. Yeah, y'all are too angry, you know?
But when are y'all gonna wake up, man? Like, what kind of question is this? Y'all need to wake up.
Producing a black son is like producing your enemy, to be quite frank, you know?
What about a black daughter?
If I had a black daughter, but I don't date black men, so I won't have a black daughter. But if I ended up adopting a black daughter, I would teach her to love herself and to go into the world with confidence, with self-love, and don't project angry and bitterness. You know, anger and bitterness out in the world. Just be a free spirit. And
We're going to advise her against doing what you're doing.
well, I wouldn't encourage, because my mom, she didn't tell me to get married in my 20s. She said, you know, finish school and get a career and all that stuff. And so that's what I did. I wasn't rushing to get married. I was dating in my 20s. But I am dating someone right now. We spent Christmas together yesterday. White guy, very nice white guy. And he wants to marry me. I just, you know,
Are you engaged?
he gave me a ring in 2000. Yeah, he gave me a ring in 2018, and I wear it. It's a little bit big, but I can wear it.
Did he actually propose in 2018, or did he give you a ring?
Well, when I went to visit him, because he works overseas, and so I went to visit him, and that's when he, I guess, kind of proposed. It's kind of a solid pair.
Come on, there's no kinder. You know the song proposing on.
Let me pause to respond to one of these simps. There are plenty of black men who make good money and want BW, including yours truly, fellas. Give this bitch an L, because she's a loser. There's not as many as you think in my generation. Maybe for you older people who believe in that black queen bullshit, possibly. But me, no.
No.
Did he propose?
Yes, he did ask me to marry him, and I should have said yes. I didn't say yes right away. But I do think I am going to, looking at the climate of today, I think I'm going to go ahead and marry this man.
So how are the marriage plans coming along?
I looked at dresses. That's
I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. I don't really care. This is not really saying much there in this, so I'm going to try to speed it up. So I really want you guys to see this creature gets on cam. Because this stuff needs to be brought to light, needs to be exposed, and this video will act as something for 10 years from now, 5 years from now. You can go back and see this is exactly what I was talking about.
Sometimes, sorry sis, I do. I always shut him down because I think that they know everything. So this is my ring. He proposed in 2018. I don't really wear it all the time because it fell off my finger one time.
So do you live with your fiance?
No, but we have a business together, so, you know.
So the business you have is together?
Yeah, it's an Airbnb.
An Airbnb, so what do you do? Rent out?
Yeah, it's an Airbnb in Texas. I live in Texas. So we run a business together, and that's what we do. But I can't go into it because I'll tell you,
So you got all these black men doxing people, doxing Kevin Samuels, doxing other black men, doxing people, just random people. Well, she lives in Texas, and you're gonna get to see how she really feels about black men for these simps too in this clip. And the reason I think this is important too, because I had one comment come in my video the other day. His question was ranting in my comment section, someone who wasn't even subscribed to my channel, and my channel was really small. It's just starting out. Now it's starting to grow. Crying, saying, oh, why don't you do a video on racist white people? Why don't you do a video on a racist white man? Why are you talking about the black woman? Well, you're about to see in this video why I do what I do.
I won't share it with these fellas niggers. You know, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. It's having fun, but you're not there.
You're saying why I don't do a video on racist white people. So let me get this right. I gotta figure this out. If a white person says nigger with the ER, knacker, they got knacker terms, you want me to do a video on that. But the woman that you're saying that you want to reproduce with, you want to date, you worship, your queens, does that 10 times worse. You want me not to do a video on it. It sounds like it's a lot worse. You got these creatures having babies, reproducing with these men, having crack babies, like crystal crack baby swirls, having kids they can't take care of, promote self-hate on their children, like this person right here, weave in their head. And you're worried about me doing a video on a white person saying the N-word, who probably is not going to have a child that's biracial or black. You guys see, this is where your pro-black bullshit doesn't make sense, because if you were really pro-black by definition, you would be more focused on stuff that is within your community that is causing the problem. And this is a problem. And this justifies why black men need to just replace these creatures. This is a prime example.
Okay, hold on, let me cut the fan on, it's hot. I just got out of a steamy shower, that's what I was telling you. Okay.
You're also black.
Huh?
Yeah, because there's less light in
Oh,
black
okay.
right now.
Yeah,
You're black too.
I know,
Do
sir.
you think that there's a certain amount of self-hate that's coming along with your position? Well, that's what I'm getting.
The thing is, I'm just sick of black men's behavior. I'm tired of black women feeling like they're less than. I'm tired of the climate of hatred, you know, with black men towards black women. I'm sick of it. And you're trying, the thing is, they're turning women off. I used to hate black men, but now I do. It's like, when I see black men, I consider them.
We're not even interested in you on this side of the channel, so we can't be turning you off when we're not even pursuing you. We're not interested in you. You guys are crying all day long about terms like she-booms, being called monkeys, apes, being compared to silverbacks, Serena Williams being called a monkey, and then whenever a black man says that, you want to cry about it all day long. This is what they do. They cry about it all day long. But when they get out here and say nigger, call black men apes, they want to play victim. And this is a prime example.
Apes. That's how I look at them. I'm like, look at these apes. Look at these hateful apes now.
Okay, I'm going to bring some of the other ladies that are in the back up.
Yeah, go ahead.
And no, these people have channels dedicated to this, crying about colorism, crying about being dark, crying about being compared to apes and monkeys and she-boons. Terms like she-boons, calling them weed chimps, like I said before. I called them a weed chimp before. And they're crying about that. But they're on here calling black men apes and she-boons, but crying when black men call it to them or when white men say it. Because that's how society sees them as. And so they promote their self-hate on black men and they promote it on their children. This is why it's a forever repeating process for these creatures. This video is evidence.
So we have Eden, we have Ollie, and we have Mel. Are you ladies there? Oh, yes. Oh, okay. We're going to get the ladies just now. Sorry, I presume the ladies are right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mel. So, ladies, are any of you guys in agreement with Aquarian Sun? Hello, anybody there?
I'll say that I'm not 100% in agreement with her. However, I'm closer in agreement with her than I am with you, Jessica. And I'm like far from a Trump supporter.
So what are you agreeing with her about?
Sorry. Well, I agree that culturally, I just think that the Black American community needs to do a lot. Needs to bring themselves up. And at least from my cultural group or like my personal visions, like
Yeah, we need to replace you idiots. That's what we're doing. That's why we're dating out our race 10 times more while you're crying, saying, I'm dating a white man. I got me a powerful resource, a white man. And then you end up on the news dead, killed by this white man. And then you cry, black men don't protect me. You get clapped like Breonna Taylor, and now you're 6 feet under like Breonna Taylor, and you're crying, oh, black man's not protecting me. We the least protected. Quoting quotes from Malcolm X when Daniel Cameron follows through and logically prosecutes the case or moves the cases forward instead of doing it by race, which black men should do in general. They shouldn't be focused on protecting strangers who are basically a burden to us. But this is what they do. This is exactly what these creatures do. This video is showing you why I'm not doing videos on racist, as y'all say. As you say. Idiots leaving comments on my channel.
generalize. I wouldn't choose a Black American man for myself, just in general, because there are things I want to accomplish, or things I want that I know I can get ahead further on myself, or if I'm with a different group of people. I just feel like the victim mentality thing is a huge turn off for me as well.
Just quickly, so Alka Baylon says, where was this woman at when all through the 70s, 80s, and 90s?
Oh, trust me, the victim mentality that you have, that you creatures have, is a turn off for me and everyone else. The fact that you're crying about being black and nobody wanting you is a turn off for me. and everyone else. The fact that you make up, that you are source of everyone's taxes, that you get these taxes and you depend on welfare and a bunch of other government assistance to survive, is annoying as well, because that money can be contributed to something much more meaningful than a bunch of creatures like yourself. I don't understand why these BWs don't realize how much of a burden they are to black men who are actually doing something with their life. Because when you live in a matriarchy, you're only told about the black man being bad, the big bag boogeyman, but they never talk about themselves. This is what the whole purpose. This is how this channel got so many views. It doesn't take that much. It's not that hard to call out BWs. That's why Jessica X has so many views.
Men did nothing but talk bad about black men. Now that black men have a voice through social media, these black women are now crying. Thank you, Alpha Balon. And Bigny.show says, many black women marry white men and not lose their identity.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just making sure. Sorry, Jessica.
Okay, no, that's fine. So Rana, you were saying that you agree with her on what, sorry?
I agree with her, like, general depiction about, like, she just focuses on black men in particular. I agree with her depiction of the victim mentality, and I do think that both black men and black women need to do better, because I feel like black folks are, like, in an echo chamber where they keep talking. I don't think they realize how other groups of people see them, how in reality, how they're actually viewed, and how much they need to get done. They haven't gotten done. If that makes sense.
Well, okay, go ahead, Ollie.
I personally am not in agreement with Aquarian Sun, but I do understand some of her sentiments, and if I were to elaborate on that, can I?
Go on, yeah.
I think there's some important points that she brings up, as in that, within the black community, black men have their inadequacies, but I mean, so do white men in the black community. But I think where she is coming from, I don't mean to misinterpret your stance, but I think what you're coming from is that you think that the inadequacies of white men are almost preferable to you than the inadequacies of black men. Am I correct or incorrect?
The inadequacies, I'm sorry, the inadequacies of black men are more like.
No, I'm saying we can both agree that black men and white men both have the inadequacies.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but the thing is, I rather than white man. Yeah, I do. I rather.
That's what I was just trying to understand. So you rather prefer to deal with the inadequacies of white men, right? So, yeah, and I think that is where your flaw is in your argument, because I think you can't really reduce men to just their race. I think men will always be men and have their own sensitivity. We will have our own. But for you to just reduce it that white men's plight or issues are more preferable than black men, I think you're selling yourself short, and black men short as well. And that's not to say that I don't understand where you're coming from, because
What's your name, Ollie? Is your name Ollie?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you only date black men, or are you open to other races, or?
I'm actually Nigerian, so my parents have they expressed that they would want me to be with a Nigerian men. So I'm very young too, but I've talked to Nigerian men, I've talked to black men, I've talked to men.
Ollie, don't sell yourself short. Open your mind to other races. Trust me. You'll think about it.
Yeah, I tend to not look at men in terms of their race, to look at the quality of them, and that's what I go by. So if it happens to be with white men, oh well, but I would love to be with a white woman.
Ollie, sorry to interrupt, Ollie. What age do you plan on getting married by, if you plan on getting married?
Well, in my culture, the sooner the better. My mom was married around 16. I don't plan to get married at 16, but my sisters, I'm one of 5 girls, so my sisters were married, my older sisters were married in the mid-20s, so I'm hoping to get married around that age.
Right.
This is how pathetic these dudes in the manosphere are. You got people asking questions for the panel. Why are there so many decent black men who BWs often referred to as educated lame disappear from these conversations so subtly? Why are you guys trying to cater to these BWs in the first place? What the fuck does this have to do with the channel? This is what you got some of these simps so desperate for these BWs' attention. It's funny. It's sad too at the same time.
So my thing is, if you're planning to get married before 30, do not take the advice of Aquarian Sun. Her advice would not be fitting for you. No, but Aquarian Sun, your mindset is poisonous. Let's face it, your mindset is poisonous. And so how is it disingenuous? Her mindset is poisonous. If she's going to sit up here and call black men apes, if she's going to sit up here and call black men apes and talk about how black...
You see, you got this weave chimp, ape, as you say. She's want to call black men apes. You got this weave chimp calling black men apes, but you got King Riches making videos about white women trying to push his narrative. But this is much more common than white women doing that. This is much more common than white women even getting on video or hiding behind fake profiles all day, like the femcells that BWs are talking about black men. Because white women don't do that. That's a femcells trait. That's a femcell trait. That's only specific to these BWs that you guys put on the pedestal. But you don't ever do videos on this. And you'll see this guy, if you actually watch the entire live stream, you'll see bro come to live stream and he doesn't say nothing about this, but he'll make a video about a white woman. This is what I mean. This is further proof that it's only him trying to push a specific agenda to push you to date these creatures. Because he even said himself he can't get certain women. You got people who don't have credibility to speak on dating certain women because you haven't dated enough non-BWs. You've only been with mostly BWs. You haven't been more than with 5 non-BWs don't have credibility to speak on the topic. And that's that.
Black men think shit, black men this, black men that, and she's just quickly, right? Sorry, Ollie, sorry, just quickly, right? But she is one of those women that I spoke about before who are saying, I'm not dating any black man at all. I'm all about white men, right? Your chances of getting picked up by any of those races are a lot less than you finding love in the black community. And if you guys are sitting here buying her BS story about being engaged, more for you. This woman is not engaged at all. I've had numerous women who come.
Now, I want to get to the point where you guys see this girl call her bottom shelf Brad on the phone, so you can see this. So this can act as something that can archive for evidence. This needs to be on the internet, and this specific part needs to be on the internet for a long time, because you're gonna have people coming into these businesses, and you have people who work for these people, and you got these racist white people per se that you always got having information publicized so everyone can see it. But people like this, you need to know these type of people in person. People like this who have a voice and call people apes and monkeys. You need to understand who these people are. You need to boycott these BWs. You need to boycott BWs collectively. You won't have these issues.
Onto my panel.
And this is how stupid. This is how stupid she is. She actually called her boyfriend, knowing she's live on the panel. This is how stupid these BWs are. These weeb chimps are. She called her boyfriend, knowing she's gonna be on the channel. Had him talk. She only got half her ugly ass face covered, so you can see she's calling her boyfriend. She's on the panel. She knows she's on live, and this is perfect content for me because this stuff is stuff I can use. This is gold right here. And look at her small ass room. She's in her small ass room. You can see her small ass room, her 200 square foot apartment. She's on the phone with her boyfriend, and you're about to hear him speak.
Ask your question. Okay, Zeno FHD says, okay, Airbnb is not a business, number one. Number two, how can two people share that? Number three, she's just a black woman who hates being black. Most of them do. That's the real problem here. Rejection.
This is what happens.
And this is a prime example. BWs want to be white women. They want to replace white women. They'll never replace white women. They want to be what non-BWs are. They want to compete with non-BWs, but they never will. So what they do is they get out here and they blame black men like me for dating interracially, not wanting them, because they have their own inferior complex and hate that they feel negative about. And they know when they see a black man with a white woman, it fuels their anger because they're doing this. They're getting this weave. They're trying to get the bottom shelf Brad, thinking they got a powerful, resourceful white man, as these ghetto retards say, and they only got the bottom barrel of the men that they can find in that group. And so it angers them. They hate you, black men, when you're dating interracially. It angers them to see it because they want to be white women. As you can see, this woman is trying to imitate them to the fullest. Except she made a few mistakes. White women aren't femcells, and they got their real hair. So they're not talking about black men 24/7. And they actually get men other races want. Nobody want the men you get. Men of any source of value who've seen dating BW are seen as bottom barrel. You cannot bring a BW home to your family. And if you have a black man, women get status from men anyways. So if a black man is out here doing his thing, it doesn't matter what the other family think, because he's able to support her. You get the bottom barrel men of every race, so it doesn't matter. BWs have a terrible image in society, and this is a prime reason why.
Numbers
I'm gonna keep trying to know.
Is depressing. Never in my life have heard black women in the real world talk this way. Get some help and stop blaming black men. Classy young man says, I'm sorry, I wish I don't produce black children and call.
It's funny how these BWs just put Trump on, not knowing what Trump supports, because I support Trump's policies over Biden. I don't like Biden at all. And if Trump was in office and the Republican policies, we need those policies to be passed. Because if they were passed, we wouldn't have BWs like this. They'd be homeless on the streets because we know you depend on the government to survive. Most of you do. And you're known for having kids out of wedlock. So you having a Trump 2020 hat is benefiting black men. So good job, dumbass. The only thing that's not benefiting is the simps that simp for you. So I agree with that. Them policies benefit us. Us black men who are out here doing our thing, dating interracially, it benefits us.
Someone apes, not self-hate. And Simmons says the overwhelming majority. Hang on. Simmons says the overwhelming majority of black women feel this way. She's just honest. Most are in denial, by the way. The data says black men thrive as soon as they get away from black women. This is why they hate us.
That's a fact. BWs, like I said, are a burden to black men. They're a burden to black men. And what's good about this video right here, what's really good about this is these people will have children. Wealth is carried over generations. If more black men like me get to my level or any level higher than my success, or because a lot of black men are doing better than I'm doing and dating interracially, your kids will be more successful because you'll be able to carry more money to your children. While these BWs are talking about how much superior white men are, they're going to have trailer trash children, retarded biracial kids, and they're no longer going to be able to carry that wealth. Their kids are going to be complaining about colorism, featureism, and black men choosing other races over them, worshiping white men 50 years from now. Your kids are going to be like LeVar Ball kids, or better. Engineers, something meaningful. So these BWs, dating these bottom shelf brads is a benefit to certain types of black men. We need trash to stay with trash. This is where you see the rehab center and the homeless shelter is where the meth head and the crackhead meets. This is a dating hub for where, I'm not joking when I say this. In the city I live in one of the interracial dating capitals. This is a dating hub for BWs and white men. That says it all. That says it all.
I'm sorry.
Irene Patterson says she's not calling anybody. Just stop it.
Rana, were you asking me a question? Sorry,
Yeah, like, I'm never taking everything Aquarius is saying personally. Like, I mean, I don't really, take it
I'm not taking it.
See,
I'm just trying to look at
this is good content right here.
They don't want black
This is perfect content. I need this content.
You're gonna raise angry children. Look at the climate today. They don't like that.
Wait, hang on, Aquarian Sun. You're going to make angry children because you're going to spew a rhetoric into your child's mind that is going to make them hate half of themselves, hate who they are, and be hateful as a person.
A lot of people hate BWs though. I mean, a lot of people hate you. That's why you're crying all the time.
to do that.
Well, I'm gonna tell my child that there is a risk that you're gonna be mistreated, and it's not gonna be by the white man. It's gonna be by black men. It's gonna be by black people.
Can you put the phone screen to your camera to show us that you're actually calling somebody?
Oh, yeah. I understand. Trust me.
So, okay, like, what Aquarius is saying is a little far out.
Well, I don't want to give his number, but here. Can you hear it?
Well, you could be calling anybody at this point. That's why I wanted to see.
Well, I can't put his number up there, sis.
Let's use your phone to cover the number.
Thomas? Yeah. Okay, they don't believe we're engaged. I'm gonna live chat with well, I'll tell you her name.
Okay, Thomas, quickly. Thomas, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So his name is Thomas. Thomas.
So I'd like to ask you a few questions. When did you propose to your fiance?
I don't know the exact date. It was a long time ago. So it was been like a year and a half. So
Told you.
A year and a half. And what do you do for a living?
I worked as a medical technologist at NASA.
Babe, you don't have to.
So his name is Thomas, and he works as a medical, assistant at NASA. Let's run it back. I have it 2x speed. See, these people need to be exposed. And I don't do doxing. I don't got time for doxing, but this needs to stay up. We need to see people like this because, listen, the reason this is important is because you got too many BWs who love to play victim and always playing victim and in the media talking about racism, black women are too dark, they're not desired. All over comment section, all over the media saying, oh, this is why I don't like black men with interracial dating, this is why this and that. You don't have a lot of black men speaking on this and showing videos like this because they play victim. And this video debunks that. It shows they're not the victims. It shows they're really the ones who are the ones self-hating, not black men like me who date interracially. It shows that they're the ones who are self-hating. And so this is why I think this is important to record this specific part right here.
The exact date. It was a long time ago. So it was been like a year and a half. So
Told you.
A year and a half. And what do you do for a living?
I worked as a medical technologist at NASA.
Babe, you don't have to tell him.
And how much do you earn?
He literally should put his information out there like that. That's how stupid this redneck trailer trash idiot is. He literally should put his information out there like that. How dumb can you be? Let's go.
Yearly.
I need to answer all this.
I told
Listen, Thomas, I know you're
live chat, and I told him how much you make, $80,000 a year, and And look
Oh,
at
come on, why are you're feeding him answers now, okay? So let's
Okay,
keep
I'm
it
sorry,
let's
I'm
keep
sorry.
it organic, right?
Okay.
So Thomas, what race are your parents?
What?
What race are your parents?
What race did you say?
Yeah, what race? What color are your parents?
Okay, what?
She said, what race? What race are your parents?
Well, of course they're Caucasian.
Okay, so have you heard your fiance's views on black men?
Yes.
So you've heard it. So when she calls black people apes and niggers, do you agree with that?
Actually, I don't think I do.
Okay, so for that idiot who came to my video and commented and said, why I don't do a video on racist white men, here's your video on racist white people or white men that you wanted, that you're crying about because I'm doing a video about your black queens. If you ever come back to my channel, here's your video of that right here. And look how they play stupid when you're with a weave chimp, right? You're with this woman and you're saying you don't know if she's racist or you don't agree with it. And what I want people to realize is they do agree with it. But the thing about it is they're more calculated than these dumb BWs. Because a lot of these men are beta males from their community. I've seen it with my own eyes. And they can't get these white women that are actually select. The white women that are worth something in their community. And they know they can always go down, drop down to the ghetto and get one of these low self-esteem, self-hating BWs. Because them are all the, basically, those are the men, those are the women that these men get. They get the self-hating, low self-esteem BWs who wish they could be white women and they can't. Because they can't compete with white women. And they get with them because they boost their ego. Let me say this. If you have a 400-year head start on somebody, or let's say you have a 3 head start in a race, and that man surpasses you, get with your woman, and comes first, and you come last in the race, you're going to have no choice but to go and date the bottom of the barrel woman. And this is a perfect example of that. No black man that I know is interested in this creature. When we have other races of women to choose from, no man that I know would want to date a self-hating idiot with weave in her head or BW in general. So this is an Amazon Prime example of what I've been talking about. And I'm glad that this idiot got on video and actually proved my point.
Would you be happy marrying somebody that's actually displaying a certain amount of self-hate where they see people of their own race as apes and niggers?
Well, that's the way you describe it.
No, my name wait, hang on. My name is Jessica X on YouTube.
Notice how this idiot tried to completely dodge the question. All right, how I said, well, you hired it, you know. I'm thinking, I believe in freedom of speech. Quit the victim mentality. Trump 2020. And that's what these idiots do. They always try to transform something that has nothing to do with politics because their IQ is too low into politics. And as someone who wanted Trump to win in the 2020 election, this has nothing to do with politics at all. But this is what you got when you got meth heads with crackheads and they come together. This is how stupid they are. And this is why you got black men dating interracially and you got BWs being dragged through the mud all over the internet by Kevin Samuels, by racists, by white people, and no one's coming to their defense because they're idiots. This is a prime example. This is a prime example.
Find my channel and you can watch this back.
I'm gonna give him your information so he can find you. But go ahead,
Yeah, you can watch this back.
Yeah.
I see that she's just trying to make it point by being, what do you call it, not controversial, but, well, yeah, controversial, but,
These are my real feelings.
she's people's attention, you know, and like,
Can I ask you this?
inflammatory things.
Is she usually dramatic and does she usually do things for attention?
I also had someone say, you know, if you black men who date interracially, why you use the term bedwench? I use the term bedwench because from what I know, the definition of bedwench was a slave who slept with white men who were married to white women. So that's basically what I see BWs as, because they're basically slaves in this society and they worship white men. They don't have any self-respect. They don't compete with other races of women. They just worship them. The ghetto gaggers show that. So that's why I label them or agree with the term bedwench, because that's who they are. Now, if you turn the tables, that's not the same thing that black men are doing. Black men aren't getting on rating racial slurs across their chest to get with other races of women. So that bedbug term doesn't even make sense. The bedwench term is specific to BWs because this is what they gotta do to compete with other women for these bottom shelf brats. And that's a fact.
Actually, no, she's the opposite of that.
So
Exactly.
why do you feel that she's desperately seeking attention here? Because you agree that she's being controversial for attention. So why do you think she's doing this here today?
It's political. She's trying basically. This is what I see. She figured out that she's been lied to by the Democratic Party and liberals for years and years and years.
This makes no fucking sense. What are you talking about? What does it have to do with politics, you dumbass? See, this is what when they asked him the question, they had to completely change the subject because he doesn't have the IQ to actually answer this question. It's out of his range. So he tried to switch it up. And he doesn't know he's being recorded. So that's why he's talking about this, because what he's saying doesn't even make sense. This has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with politics. Nothing.
And she got mad. So it comes out, and then black people, whenever she turns conservative, black people call her coon, they call her sellout, they call her horrible things.
Listen, Thomas. This is nothing.
We try, when we try to hit them for that, she's like,
Thomas, this is nothing to do with politics. We're not discussing
yeah,
politics here.
it's everything to do with politics.
Are you aware of the discussion that we're having?
Before all this political this year, she's never.
Being most inferior race of woman, wanting to be white woman, being a least desired woman, talking about black men all day 24/7 has nothing to do with politics. What does this have to do with politics?
Dream of saying stuff like that, or
Yeah, as I'm telling you, Jessica, I haven't always been this way. It led up to this. And
So
black women, I
what
can
things that made you this way? Is that what you're saying?
politics and just realizing the truth behind everything. The re-indoctrination of my own self and coming to the realization that I'm tired of being politically correct has gotten us nowhere. So we have to talk about things, and we have to, if something slips and I say something that's offensive, then so be it. People are pussies today. People need to.
You're being a pussy because you're saying you can't handle what black men are saying.
You're a pussy. You're crying about black men not wanting you for white women because you're ugly. I'm 26. I'm not one of these old men who's bald on YouTube. You're ugly. I can see it. I can't even see your full face, and I can tell you're not attractive. I'm not attracted to you BWs. I'm attracted to non-BWs. You're crying about black men not wanting you. You're crying about Kevin Samuels, a video Kevin Samuels made, calling you unattractive or saying you can't find a woman over 30. Whatever you're crying about, I don't even know because I don't really care. I just want to use this content for because it's perfect for my whole agenda that I'm pushing on this channel. So how is it that everyone else is a pussy, but you're crying over this? This is what these creatures do. They cry 24/7 for being themselves, and they play victim. This is a prime example.
You can't handle black men saying they're not going to settle for below average women. You can't handle the fact that Kevin Samuels is telling you that you're in a danger zone.
She's not Thomas. She's not white.
It really doesn't matter. Black people, I know tons of black people. They call each other all kinds of. They call each other anywhere constantly. So
Exactly.
it's coming from a black person who's been called everything by these people. So it's not. I don't agree with it.
Which is exactly what your dumbass wife is doing, you idiot. Like, do you hear this retard trailer trash reject talking? This is like the Jason Pope 1.0. Jason Pope is smarter than you. Jason Pope is a 2.0. You're 1.0. What are you talking about? These are the type of men that these creatures get. They get these bottom of the barrel men. This is proving that.
Of course, as a white person, we can't say the word hate at all. We can't say
So I can say it. I can say it all day, and it's not a problem.
it. But coming from her, it's different. It is different. I don't agree with it. I don't think you shouldn't say that. But that's the white person in me saying, who am I to judge a black person for saying something about other black people?
Exactly. You've been silenced.
I can talk about other white people, and no one would care. It's just like.
White people can't even say what's on their mind. Black people are so sensitive. They push white people in a corner. White people feel like they can't speak. They can't.
Can I ask Thomas a question?
Go ahead.
So Thomas, you're not.
I'm actually a strong supporter of non-BW speaking up to you low self-esteem creatures. I hope they really speak, really mind, because you guys talk too much about certain topics about them and always crying and playing victim. I hope they speak up to you BWs. I actually did a video on a white man previously that said you were the least desired, that nobody with self-respect would want to date you, and I defended him. So I hope they do speak up, because it's going to be you that it backfires on. It's not going to be me. So I'm not sure what these creatures are talking about. I'm assuming they're talking about the black men who sent for them. And that's what they don't understand, is they're black men who sent for them. They're black men who are moving forward without you and replacing you and don't respect you. That's the difference. But a lot of these dudes, they call these BWs out, but they're still invested. They still want to date these BWs. I don't want to date them. And so they can't even stand that from them. So you know that these BWs not be compatible with a black man who actually respects himself. Because no man is going to have the patience to put up with these type of creatures if they can find better options, unless you are a simp, black men interested in dating these BWs. And that's why King Richards won't do a video on this, but he'll do a video on the white woman. That's about a 2-hour long video. Interesting. Interesting.
Even actually aware of how long that you've been engaged. Doing the math that she gave us, you've been engaged for over 2 years, but according to you, it's only a year and a half, right? So,
Well, 2018. If
you said November 2018. We're in December 2020.
I've changed jobs and
yeah, he's had. It's been since let's put it like this, 2018. So technically, a year and a half, 2 years.
So, Tom, are you financially unstable? Is that the reason why you haven't got married yet? Your finances aren't where you want them to be.
well, that's a relative question. I would say no. I mean, I'm better off than probably 80% of Americans, but I'm not 80%.
Can I ask him then, what is the reason for what is the reason for the 2 years since being engaged and you've made no further plans to get married? Why is that?
So they said just to collaborate. They said he's better off than 80% of Americans. I think they said he make like 80 grand a year or something. He's in his 30s or something. I'm 26. I make over 80 grand a year. I mean, I make over 100 grand a year, and I'm dating a top race of young woman. You're with a self-hating race of my woman, and this goes to show you that who really gets the bottom of the barrel woman and who really gets the top of the barrel woman. Because women aren't chasing after loser males; they can get the alpha male. That's specific to any other group of women. But BWs will be acceptable and chase after bottom barrel men as long as you're white, and that's why you get the rejects of the community. And I'm a perfect example. I can compare myself to these two people right now. I will never do a live stream with these type of people. And the only time I'll ever do a live stream, because unless it was just proving my point, I would do a live stream if it proved my point. They got their husband on the panel, and I got my girl on the panel, and we went at it. And we have to show our faces to prove it. Because there's no point of hiding behind a computer. Posting videos you only want to be posted. And making videos that you only want to be seen, when we could just make it happen. And we could just ruin this whole they out your race thing, because nobody respects you like the BWs. We can just debunk that in a simple proof video of live chat, a live video. On cam, couple to couple. But that'll never happen because they'll ruin their image and their victim complex that they can use whenever something goes wrong or something doesn't go their way if they do that. Because they can no longer say the black man is the big bad boogeyman no more if they do that.
Okay, this is a controversy.
That's it. Why, it's been 2 years since you got engaged. There have been no further plans. Why is that?
There's a lot of reasons, really. I mean, it would be hard to pinpoint just one. I mean,
You can list a few. That's fine.
I don't care about this engaged bullshit. I really don't care.
change jobs, and there's been a lot of
Hold on, this towel's gonna fall. Hold on. Shit.
We can't see you.
A lot of you black men, you realize a lot of these women like Candace Owens, they're more calculated. So just because she doesn't say something publicly about black men, obviously she's not going to say something publicly. She's a public figure. But her actions show that she has similar mindsets to this woman here. Just because you don't see it in public doesn't mean it. And yes, she does hold BW accountable because she understands that she's failing as a BW because of BWs like this and them as a collective. But I wouldn't go and say that she wouldn't go and talk about black men. I wouldn't go as far as saying that because, again, she's a public figure. She's probably not going to talk about black men in a certain way in public, but she does talk about black men indirectly. And a lot of these BWs with these bottom shelf brads, outside of that, Hollywood do the same thing. Y'all need to stop putting these women on a pedestal.
Can you see me on the screen?
We can see you, but only up to your shoulders. So,
Oh, okay. Got it.
So you said because you had to change jobs. What are the other reasons?
Well, you're asking me to talk about Summer, and I'm not going to do that. Summer wants to tell you how to take on
Already,
I'm not
they don't
going to
believe me for like I called you in part 2, but
But
sorry that you were
you
real.
must know, as her fiance, you know why you haven't made any plans so far. So I'm just asking from you.
So her name is Summer. Her name is Thomas. She works at NASA. All right, this needs to stay up. This is gonna stay up. I might have to shorten this clip just to use it as an example to my videos for these simps who keep making videos trying to push this agenda to only date BWs. This is gonna be my go-to clip for these simps.
Why you have made those plans? Why are you keeping her waiting?
Oh god.
Well, I could answer that, but that's an extremely personal question.
I know, and there's people watching. I can tell her. but-
Thomas, we don't know you. We don't know you, so I get that it's personal, but we don't know each other. So it's not like anything will come of this. We're just trying to figure out where you're coming from.
I want to answer those type of questions. Sorry, I'll go to like a engagement counselor, and then we can, talk to a professional about it. That's not a situation.
Yeah,
Okay, so there are issues already in your engagement. That's what I'm figuring out. There are issues within your relationship, and that's why so far there have been no plans made by Thomas to actually push things forward. Thomas seems like he's making excuses as to why he hasn't married you yet. It's been 2 years since you got engaged, and if Thomas really wanted you, despite him changing jobs, that marriage would have happened already.
well, there's a lot, as I'm saying, there's things that, this is a public forum, and there's people watching, and we're not going to discuss that. I could talk to you privately, but not, there's a lot of haters in the comment section right now, and I can't, they're already looking for things to attack me by because of how I feel about black men. So,
Thomas, one more question.
First of all, I can see the comments, but you got on the platform, you dumbass, and you pretty much embarrassed yourself. Of course, I'm going to record the video and use it for my platform so we can stop reproducing idiots like you. And I can hear less how you feel about black men, but you're just a perfect source to what I'm pushing. That's all I'm doing right now. Is I'm recording you because you were dumb enough to get on camera and put your public information out there like the stupid weed chimp you BWs are, and I had to break down your logic. Break down your talking points. Now, as far as the guys in the comment section, I don't know. They must be simple for these BWs because it seems like they're not really addressing the talking points of the flaws of these BWs, but they'll address it with a non-BW. It's interesting.
And then we can get him off. Can I ask one last question, and then we'll get him off the line.
okay, well, she said she wanted to ask you one more question.
One more question, Thomas. Have you ever heard of ghetto gaggers? Have you ever heard of ghetto gaggers?
Ghetto gaggers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a white supremacist porn thing.
This is what these black men are doing. They say, I don't expect less from a Trump supporter if BW engaged to race away, man. This has nothing to do with being a Trump supporter. Your women, your black queens are this as a collective. This has nothing to do with being engaged to the BW. Your queens don't want to have black kids because they know that their black kids, their black daughters especially, aren't going to be able to compete with other races of women. And they hate themselves. They hate black men because they've been rejected by high-value black men with options, black men who aren't interested in women that anyone can have for other races of women. So they don't want to have black children. This has nothing to do with being a Trump supporter, bro. I won't say I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm a supporter of a lot of right-wing economic policies because I own my own business. So I'm a supporter of that from an economic standpoint. But, bro, this has nothing to do with being a Trump supporter. This is your queens at its highest peak. That's what this is. This is things that have been happening since 15 years from ago, 15 years back. It's just being publicized now. That's the only difference. This is your queens. This is what they do. This is how stupid they are. That's all. Accept it. Accept it and move on and replace them. Problem solved. That's all you gotta do.
She's in cohorts with black men. I just found her because she's a beautiful girl, and I like some of her content.
Sorry, Aquarian Sun, I'm sorry, but you seem like you'd be the perfect candidate for ghetto gaggers. I mean, if he's right, everything is right. He can do no wrong. That's not how you're coming across so far.
Nobody's perfect, sis. Nobody's
I'm gonna post a ghetto gagger of something I seen. This person speaking, it reminds me of.
perfect. But I'm just saying, I can't just put all that out there. And there's people in the comment section are hating already. They're looking for, us to pick out something that, or they're trying to pick out something of a flaw, which
We were lying about sport.
men are pushing most black sisters into the badly. And so
I have a question for Summer.
Okay, I gotta get out here in a few. I'm gonna record maybe 2 more minutes of this, and I gotta go. I got other things to do. But yeah, I'm just gonna record 2 more minutes of this, and then we can get to it.
I'm attractive on top of that, but I have a question for you.
You're not attractive to me, bitch. I can tell you the women I date are way more attractive than you. You're not attractive to me. I'm not attracted to you BWs. Maybe to that bombshell Brad, you're attractive. How you're talking about these black men who are old and fat and overweight. I'm 26. You're in your 30s. And you have weave all over your head. You're not attractive. But, these simps will find anything attractive. I would like to see what she looks like without her mask. And I compare her to these women that black men are with that aren't with BWs. We can see that you aren't level with these women in looks. And you're not level with them in character at all. You got weave on your head. Talking about you don't have black children. So obviously you don't think you're that attractive, you dumbass. Because you don't want your kids to look like you, and I don't blame you. BWs don't want black children because y'all cry all day about being black and then call other people pussies when you crying about being black because you have low self-esteem. This doesn't make any sense.
Aquarius or Summer?
I can hear you, sweetie.
Sure. So my question is, the one thing that really stood out to me is
So you have certain convictions, right?
I'm sorry, Eden. I'm sorry. Can I please just try and read some of these super chats because they are unfortunately fire.
Say to prove to people that you don't know what you stated you were. If you know something to be true, why do you need to prove that to other people? Stated right off the bat that you have a job and you do not want to reveal your identity. You also stated that you just got out of the shower, you had a towel on.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this video off right now. But yeah, you can see the hypocrisy. A lot of these clowns, these dudes who make these videos about these other races of women, but they don't want to do a video on this. And the guy that actually did that video, King Richards, is ending the live stream. If you want to watch the whole live stream, you go to the channel, you can see it. But this right here is another perfect example. Don't let them brainwash you into believing that these BWs are perfect. The only ones that can understand a black man, black love, pro black, yeah. No other race of women can do that. Because as you can see, white women aren't doing this. White women, non-BWs aren't this stupid doing this. Now, you got some people saying, N-words, so what? As a collective, they're not doing this. They're not this dumb and desperate. Your woman, your black queens are this dumb and desperate. But you guys, like King Richards, didn't do a video on this. And we can see why. So I'll point it out. And that's it. Hope everyone have a better New Year's, good New Year's. Wish the best for everyone, accomplish your goals, and continue to live your life.